Live tonight from the virtual Darlington Raceway, we say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the 2020 return of the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Select Blinds. We're so happy to have you strapped into the virtual seat for some hot laps and along for the ride with us on the iRacing Esports Network, streaming live at enascar.com. As always, my name is Evan Pasoko, joined in the broadcast booth tonight by an LCQC veteran in Tim Terry. So Tim, tonight I say welcome back.
It's been a while, Evan. I've been waiting almost 10 years for this. Back in 2011 was the last LCQC, and it was here on the iRacing surface at Darlington. This Darlington racetrack hasn't changed. It's still the lady in black. There's been other things that have changed. The Cup car has changed. Some of the talent, some of the competition has changed. But at the end of the day, it's one lap, and there's some big money on the line tonight for the fast qualifier.
And of course, you talk about the names involved in this, Tim. Over the years, this LCQC has kind of been known as a litmus test of sorts of how long you've been involved in sim racing and kind of how well you know its history. There's a lot of names from those first two back in 2010 and 2011 competing with us here tonight.
There are, and then there are some that did not make the show. How did we get here tonight? Last night was the open time trials, the preliminary round, if you will. 200 plus entries made their attempt to qualify through 19 qualifying sessions last night. The top 40 made it through, but there was a tie at 40th. Rajah Caruth and Michael Daniel tied. It had to go to their second best qualifying lap, 8 thousandths of a second. The whole field separated by just under 9/10 of a second. Absolutely huge. 9/100 of a second, sorry. Absolutely huge. The names that are left out of this, Evan, you're looking at about 19 when you look at drivers that compete in the real world or former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series or current drivers in that series. Guys like Elliott Sadler, Parker Kligerman, Josh Parker cashed in the first one back in 2010. How about Ty Majeski missing the show, missing the top 40? Bob Bryant, Tuesday night's winner, Colin Keister missed the show. We could go on and on about the names that missed this show, because you could probably fill another 40 of really good talents.
Yeah, 211 different drivers competed in that attempt to qualify. Only the top 40, though, are on track here tonight with that $10,000 prize on the line. And it is the LCQC. It is a qualifying challenge, and that's what we're going to be doing is single car runs one at a time. That's all you get. One hot lap. Your time must stand the test of time. And the big thing is, Tim, as well, is this is a qualifying session on iRacing. Any incident points that you accrue means that your lap time would be disqualified. That was not a factor last time we did this in 2011 when Kenny Humphrey won it with a time of 26.955, of course, in those old COT Cup cars. So because now we have this open group qualifying in iRacing, those incident points would eliminate your lap entirely. And here at Darlington, that's a major concern.
Yeah, and when we look at this, it is a fixed setup, but I want to point something out here, Evan. When we look at the conditions that these drivers are racing in, yes, it's Darlington. Yes, you can see the rubber around the racetrack. 30-mile-an-hour wind tonight. Temperature ambient is 90. The track temp is going to change a little bit throughout the evening, but it's hard at Darlington to begin with to not scrape the wall and get up in the wall. The matter is you've got a 30-mile-an-hour wind pointing at you. It makes it even more difficult. So it was not easy to get into the top 40 as we saw through the qualifying format and the qualifying order. But man, these guys have to be up on the wheel, not only for it being Darlington, but also the weather forecast and the wind kind of whipping them around a little bit.
And there's some big names in this, the likes of Seth the Merchant, who holds the iRacing world record for the fastest qualifying lap here. Keegan Leahy holds the record for the fastest race lap, and in fact, Leahy was fastest in yesterday's qualifier, but tonight we go in reverse order. So you mentioned that tiebreaker for 40th. Both Rajah Caruth and Michael B. Daniel put down a 27.586. That was the slowest of the top 40 times, as you mentioned, separated only by 0.083 seconds. So therefore, Rajah will be up first. He qualifies from the spot. That should keep everybody of toes going to fourth. First in queue, 40th from last night, 40th tonight, the fastest from yesterday.
Yeah, when you look at this list, obviously Timmy Hill, we've seen him run well in the Pro Invitationals, won at Texas. Zach Novak is our reigning eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion. Malik Ray is a part of the series. Garrett Smithley. Those are in the top 10 of drivers that are going to go out to qualify, which means they were in the back 10 when we talk about the top 40 in speeds. Brian Blackford, a former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver. Santiago Tires is in the series. Caden Honeycutt knows how to hold a wheel. Jimmy Mullis. There's so many names here on this first sheet. And then, Evan, you get to the second sheet. These are the fastest drivers from the top 20 that are going to go out last. And obviously, Keegan Leahy set the quick time last night. He'll go out last.
And look at that car in 23rd position tonight that's going to roll off. Jason Lofit, of course, winner of the inaugural Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway on December 18th, 2010. At that time, it was a $1,000 prize to win. He was runner-up when Kenny Humpy stole that title from him the following May, in May of 2011, from here at Darlington. That second iteration of the LCQC, though, was in daytime conditions. And, of course, we talked about the difference between incident points as well. We'll modify it. Humpy won $2,200 for that one. But I mean, there is talent from the real world, from the sim, top to bottom, all throughout, Tim. And I think the big thing is not only that this is one lap, but the drivers right now, they're all sitting waiting. This is not all going to happen at the same time like a normal solo qualifying session does on iRacing. These drivers are going to be going to the laps cold. Right now, the track is closed. They're going to have to wait until we actually start. They're going to have to watch all the cars in front of them go before they can actually get on track. Some guys may not be getting on time, for their hot lap till they're 30, 60, 90 minutes removed from their last lap in practice. That as well, coupled with the nerves, I think, is going to make this extremely difficult. I would not be surprised if the winning times from tonight, in fact, actually slower than those top 40 times from yesterday, because you mentioned they had multiple attempts to put down those top times. Only Nick Ottinger and Garrett Lowe actually were able to get a top 40 time on their one single attempt. Guys like Keegan Leahy did 20 laps in yesterday's qualifying to get to this point.
When you look at this setup, it's just like when Landon was trying to make the cup fields every Sunday through the go or go home qualifying. I think Landon kind of mentioned letting these drivers sit and kind of think about their lap before they go out. It might even be a head game to do that as well, Evan. So this is going to be exciting as we get ready to go qualifying here with 40 drivers. They're still thinking about it. I don't know how much head games are being played, but we'll find out very shortly.
And we're getting set to dish out $10,000, Tim, and I believe you now have landed with us on the broadcast.
Yeah, let's chat with Landon Cassill. Landon, welcome back. Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. We just talked about why this event came to be, but let's hear it from you. Why did the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge come to be back in 2010?
It came to be because I was in a position in my professional racing where every single week I had to put everything on the line to make the race and to make a living. And I used iRacing to learn the racetracks, and it all came down to one lap for me during that time in my career. So I wanted the people on iRacing to feel what I felt every Friday. So yeah, we put up the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge, put up some money, and it was a great show. It was incredible, and I feel like 9 years later, what a better time to reboot it.
And I was about to ask, why the reboot 9 years later? We've got so much talent here that it tried to qualify last night. Why the reboot here in 2020?
I mean, there's so much energy around what we've been doing. iRacing has been so great with the Pro Invitational Series, with the way NASCAR has pivoted in the last 2 months. The community has supported me. Companies like Blue Emu, Select Blinds coming on board, they've all doubled down on everything iRacing and everything that I've been doing. So, I've had so much support, and we've been on TV, and there's been a lot of big stuff going on, but this was a chance for me to do something with the iRacing community, open the field up. It's not an invitational. We're not catering to any celebrity drivers. Denny Hamlin's in the field tonight, but he earned his way, and he had to pay an entry fee like everybody else. He put up a lap time like everybody else. And just like Timmy Hill and Garrett Smithley, Alex LeVay, we got NASCAR drivers in the field, but But the real stars, I mean, there's some professional iRacers in this field that know what they're doing, and we're going to find out who's the best tonight under pressure.
Looking at these names, you've seen some of these names before on the iRacing service. Who do you see as a potential to walk away with that big $10,000 prize tonight?
Man, I don't know. I don't want to say. There's a lot of really good guys. I mean, you got some Coke Series drivers. Keegan Leahy laid down a heck of a lap to go to P1 last night. I don't know if I'm going to pick. I can't pick a winner. I'm not going to pick a favorite because I don't want to give anybody some confidence here. We're trying to keep the playing field level. These guys are really good at finding every little hole on how you heat the tires up and how you get the car out on the racetrack. But we've kind of had to lay the hammer down on them today and say, this is what I expect to see driving out onto the racetrack. I'm going to be watching every single car, every single replay. The top 5 drivers are going to be sending me the replays. I'm going to inspect them almost like I'm inspecting a physical race car. I don't want to see any tire scrubbing. I want to see all the speed made on the racetrack.
Well, we wish you all the best tonight in the race control booth. Have some fun with this, and we'll see who walks away with $10,000.
That's the best part. I've been waiting for this for a long time, so I can't wait to see this happen.
Well, we thank Landon Cassill for being a part of the pre-race show. And Evan, as he said, I'll echo the same thing. I've been waiting since 2011 for this when Kenny Humpy whipped off that quick lap. We talk about the competition. Kenny missed the show. He's not in the top 40. So we're just a few moments away from seeing who takes away this $10,000 prize. I can't wait.
Yeah, we sent home championship sim racers to pro drivers, and tonight it is the top 40 that remain. And when we come back, the first driver will hit the racetrack. We're set to go for the 2020 Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. It starts next from Darlington.
Hi, I'm Rusty Wallace.
And I'm Johnny Bench.
And we're no strangers to big-time pain.
Which is why we trust Blue Emu's pain relief products.
I use it every day to keep me on the move because winning never gets old.
Blue Emu pain relief products, non-greasy, deep-penetrating formula gets down deep into your muscles and joints to do its magic.
And speaking of magic...
Blue Emu, maximum pain relief, the official pain relief cream of NASCAR.
And back live for the virtual Darlington Raceway as we are set to go for the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Select Blinds. We're happy that you're with us on the iRacing Sports Network. Evan Pisoko, Tim Terry up top with you, Tim. And let's talk Darlington. We mentioned that this was the track that had played host to the last time this event happened in 2011. The oldest speedway on the NASCAR circuit, Darlington Raceway's egg-shaped configuration. One at the end and a big wide open one, while the other one's pinched tight. It's been perplexing drivers and mechanics since it opened back in 1950 for the inaugural running of the Southern 500. The track was built on an old farm in the middle of rural South Carolina, and its unique shape is the legacy of a minnow pond that the farmer who owned the land wasn't willing to give up. It's still there at a turn number 4, and about 6 decades later, the lap speeds have risen to nearly 180 miles an hour. This racetrack is not going to allow a car to feel good at one end of the racetrack if it's good at the other end at this 1.366 mile track. And we get set to see our first car on track. It is your P40 qualifier from last night, and it is Raja Karuth, a member of the NASCAR Drive for Diversity program. He is as well in a top 25 spot in the iRacing NASCAR Road to Pro. He's a development driver for the Richmond Raceway eSports team out of Washington, D.C. The number 6 Toyota about to be the first car on track.
You mentioned this racetrack. It's nicknamed the Lady in Black, and she is going to break some hearts tonight. I can almost guarantee it as we get ready to go green. Keep in mind that clock up on the Select Blinds ticker is irrelevant. We're going for the fastest lap as we get ready to see the green flag come out on this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. Raja Karuth, a summer shootout competitor at Charlotte, so he knows about pressure trying to get to the front. but this is only one lap as he's exiting turn 2.
That was the wide end of the racetrack. Down in 1 and 2. Now he's going to have to try to tighten it up here in 3 and 4. Leaves about 4 feet of space off of the outside wall. And he got the fence there at a turn number 4. Carruth to the line. The lap time is not going to count, courtesy of the incident point, and Carruth goes with a DNF in the first qualifying effort of the evening. Tim, we talked about how this differs from 2011, and that one, drivers would basically send it into the wall. That penalty was losing about 0.2 of a second. Here, you get the fence, you get nothing, and unfortunately for the 6 machine, it was a good lap, but at the very end there, overstepped that boundary.
So one car done, 39 left to take this lady in black, and the next one up is car number 71, the High Performance Motorsports car, a former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series competitor in Mitchell Hunt. I've known Mitchell for a while, Evan. You want to talk about a guy that is full send 100% of the time? It's this guy right here. Expect big things out of him. And when we talked to some of these drivers earlier, you talked about the 0.08 of a second in between the first and 40th place last night in qualifying. Any one of these drivers could win, and Mitchell Hunt has a firm belief that he can cash once again. He was third in one of these Landon Cassill qualifying challenges before, and he is on the clock.
Heard a bit of a feather of the throttle there in the center of 1 and 2. A big thing here is going to be committing when you get back into the gas to not roll back out of it off of the quarter. He finished third, he mentioned, back in 2011. That was here at Darlington. Final time off of turn 4. Clear of the outside wall. We'll see our first timed lap, and the benchmark is set, a 27.629, as Mitchell Hunt, the first driver to secure a time in a qualifying. Of course, that is about 1/10 of a second off from his best from last night.
So 1 in so far. Mitchell Hunt is currently on the $10,000 hot seat, but that could change throughout the next 38 drivers that are set to go qualifying in this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Select Blinds. Our next driver pulling up to the start-finish line, or the start line on pit road, and man, it's great to see John Gorlinski back in the bright yellow. The William Byron Esports number 97 has a new look to it tonight as he gets ready to be sent by the officials to come out on his run.
And we talk about the drivers that involved in this in the past, and John Gorlinski making a return. The driver out of Harrisburg, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. Of course, the driver in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series for William Byron Esports. And we talk about Timmy Hill, who's going to be up next. It's John's boss and William Byron, who went head-to-head with Timmy for a lot of those races over the last couple of weekends on Fox. So again, he just has about this 3/4 to half of a lap of to kind of warm this up. And Tim, 3 and 4 here before your actual timed lap starts. Super critical to get a good run off, as here he goes.
Absolutely, and I think we saw with Rajah Carruth coming off of that corner number 4, you might see a couple of guys be a little more timid as up and against the wall in corner number 1 and 2. There were some sparks flying. I think he got close enough to maybe get a 0x, but he's still on the wood.
There's only one way to find out, and that is to see if the time posts at the start-finish line. Down in 4 now. This is where Carruth got into the outside wall. That safer barrier extended off a quarter 4. Gorlinski to the start-finish line, a 27.714. Not fast enough to overtake Mitchell Hunt. The lap was clean, but that puts him currently second out of the 3 that have gone.
Yeah, great to see one of the self-proclaimed old guys get up on the wheel on this one, but currently P at number 2 to Mitchell Hunt. You mentioned the next driver that's coming up in qualifying, a Pro Invitational winner a couple of weeks ago, and he is excited to get up on the wheel. He is a former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver, as we see those 2 drivers on the side, and we're going to be able to look on board the roof claim number 66 at Timmy Hill as he pulls up to the line.
And one of the talking points over the course of that Pro Invitational is race control. Joshua Mendoza gives him the green light, and he is off and away, Tim, is the fact that, yeah, sure, Timmy Hill drives in the NASCAR Cup Series, but that setup there that he's working with is basically the same thing that I've got. I'm sure it's the same thing that that a lot of iRacing members have, and is a relatively basic setup. Goes to show you that you don't need the flashiness to get the speed. It comes down the driver as Timmy Hill gets set for his one and only lap.
Driver is focused. I know he worked last night with Adam Gilliland, who we'll see a little bit later on in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge, and along with Justin Fuller to try to get into the show, and Timmy Hill was able to do so. Bottoms out through 1 and 2, gets it right up against the wall in turn number 1, gets it down the racetrack and points it down the back straightaway.
Leaves a little bit more separation than we saw out of Gorlinski, but of course it didn't work out for the 97. What will it be for the 66 P2? A 27.670. It puts him in the middle of them, about 41/100ths of a second off at the top time for Mitchell Hunt. So the roofclaim.com Toyota with a good showing as he puts lap number 4 in the books.
So 4 drivers have gone so far, and it was some really big names, but some more big names to come here. We'll see who lines up next. This Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge has been great so far, and we've only seen 4 cars.
And you saw Timmy Hill on the wheel, by the way. The only driver not running a steering wheel is going to be up next as we wait for AJ Henderson to go out 5th. We step aside for a moment. Mitchell Hunt, your early leader in the LCQC from Darlington.
Welcome back to SBTV. Let's go to work.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change this all out. I'm gonna flip it like a pancake and flip your lives.
Double flip.
Here we go.
Oh my god.
The moment we've been waiting for. Here's your new living room.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at this. I love it so much. I would have never thought of this.
And of course, tonight's coverage brought to you, and a big thanks to the folks over at Select Blinds for sponsoring tonight's event. You can show your home a little love with custom blinds you'll love. You can check out their website at selectblinds.com. 4 drivers on track already from Darlington Raceway. As we take a look at the running order, Rajah Caruth hit the wall. Therefore, his qualifying attempt was disallowed. We've seen Mitchell Hunt, John Gorlinski, and Timmy Hill go out. And it is currently Hunt at the top of the board with a 27.629. Tim, as we get set for AJ Henderson to hit racetrack, Mitchell Hunt's lap time from last night was a 27.585. That came on lap number 9. So again, because of those multiple attempts, not going to be shocked if the best times from this evening a little bit slower than what we saw, as AJ Henderson's going to bring the Blue Emu number 89 Chevy onto the track. That'll accrue a little bit more of a bounty, of a bonus available if somebody can get the job done in that car. And there it is, the only driver not using a wheel in the field. Tim, you've ever tried to do a hot lap at Darlington on a controller?
It's very difficult. He's got it down to a science. You can see him getting onto the buttons as he gets ready to pull out onto the racetrack. Henderson in the 89 car, going to see what he can do with a controller. But at the end of the day, Evan, it's still that laser focus that he has on the screen, trying to navigate that Blue Emu number 89 around as he is on the warm-up lap, getting ready to come up to speed through 3 and 4.
And of course, the challenge with the controller is it's just more difficult to make those precise movements on a thumbstick as opposed to it, of course, on a steering wheel. And we'll see what the 89 machine's able to do. He got into the show, Tim, so that's got us speak well, I think, for what he's going to be able to do. As he is a big fan of using the controller. Let's see if it can work.
He'll run it down into corner number 3. Looks smooth through 1 and 2. We'll see what the stopwatch says this time by the stripe. A little conservative off of corner number 4 than what we saw with a couple of these drivers, but he'll come up at a 27.724. It'll put him 4th so far out of the 5 drivers that have qualified. So a great qualifying run for AJ Henderson, but not enough to knock Mitchell Hunt off the top.
And just for comparison's sake, Tim, if you put down a 7.24 last night, you would have finished 122nd in the running order. But of course, AJ Henderson making the show, courtesy of those multiple attempts, and he ends up provisionally P4. And I'll tell you what, that's a really good time if you're asking me, based on somebody who's going to be using, again, that controller. Only driver in the field who dared to try it out. Think kudos needs to go to that 89 machine of Henderson. So next on track is going to be, you can see it rolling in the pit lane, set for car number 6. It is going to be and then as well with that Radius 1K Chevy Camaro on track. Tim, Radius challenged a couple of drivers that if they could get the race win in this paint scheme, they would add a $1,000 bonus onto the $10,000 prize to win. And let's see if he can do it.
Isaac Gann trying to collect the Radius bounty, the 1K, as he comes up to the racetrack. This is his warm-up lap to get up to speed, and he's going to have to do it fairly quickly. So not only is 10K on the line for him, if he can take away the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge, he'll pick up an extra $1,000 bonus for the Radius bounty as he comes through corner number 4. And Isaac about to see the green flag from Barney here as we get ready for his qualifying lap.
The driver out of Senecaville, Ohio. A lot of these drivers have quite complex bios. His simply says, I like to go fast. It obviously was to get into the top 40. Is he going to be able to get the job done when it matters? Here he comes, high side out of 4, just barely keeping it off the wall. What will the time be for the 1K? Across the start-finish line, a 27.630, Tim, by 1/1000th of a second short of dethroning Mitchell Hunt.
And Mitchell Hunt stays on top of the board. Isaac finishing that 1/1000th out, currently in position number 2. And Evan, we mentioned a little bit earlier, it's $10,000 to win. There's also a cool grand for position number 2, but he's going to be on that hot seat for a little while. 5 drivers have put up a time, 6 total have tried to qualify. And so far, it's down to 1/1000th, but I have a feeling it's going to get really tight near the front of this field if the time trials from last night were any indication. Coming up next, it's the Gary Mercer Trucking number 81 from McKinney, Texas. Adam Gilliland set to be on the hammer.
Been sim racing for the last 12 seasons, a 7-time competitor in the eNASCAR Cola iRacing Series, and just missed out on the big show in this deal back in 2010 at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, looking at some of that redemption in the Gary Mercer Trucking Chevrolet. Tim, of course, you talk about the other prizes as well. It's not exclusive to the $10,000 to the winner, $1,000 to second, $500 to third. We'll also pay out $20 to 4th through 10th, so that covers your $16 entry fee and $15 to everybody else in the field. There's also a handful of other awards handed out to drivers who did not make the top 40 as Gilliland's on his hot lap.
AG81 going down in turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. He's a driver in the Sim 500 Trans-Service Cup Series. Ran that scheme on Monday night and drove it to victory lane at Martinsville, looking for a big win here. As we look at a corner number 4, we'll see what Adam Gilliland has here down the front straightaway. Checkered flag on his lap, and he goes to a 27.673. It's going to put him position number 4.
So right in the middle for Gilliland, 3/1000 shy of Timmy Hill, and about 3/100ths ahead of the driver of the number 97 machine, and John Gorlinski. Saw that car out earlier in this one in that bright yellow William Byron Esports Chevy Camaro. He qualified into this one courtesy of that 3rd spot on the bottom in P38. And let's try to chat with the driver of the 97, Tim.
Yeah, let's see if we can't chat with John Gorlinski as we get ready for the next driver in line. John, it was a 5th place lap. How did you feel about it?
Well, I kind of airballed pretty much everything. It's really hard to sit there for 30 minutes and not practice, just sit there and think about everything. And the track just, honestly, it seems tight in that there's not as much grip as you'd want. I think you'll see that the better people towards the end of the session probably put down some quicker laps, but I'm just happy to be here.
Before we let you go, I have to ask you about the color on your race car. We're used to seeing you in that color. Why did you bring it back for this LCQC?
It's special. This event's special. I did one of them like 9 years ago. And, it was a lot of fun. It's unique, and it was my big old yellow car. And there's a thousand reasons not to run good, but there's no reason not to look good. So we brought it out tonight.
I love it. John Gorlinski currently 5th on the board as Zach Novak is on the wood. Evan, down the back straightaway.
And you want to talk about a driver with some sim racing accolades. The 2019 Coca-Cola Series champion and an Ignite Series champion as well.
And he'll come up at a corner number 4, and he will go to 3rd at a 27.648. So a 27.648 will put Zach Novak in the Sunoco Richmond Raceway Esports number 90 to position number 3 as we get ready to see the next one on the racetrack. And let's bring in Rajah Caruth, who had the first lap here this evening. I know it's not the lap that you wanted, Raj, but talk about this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge experience.
Yeah, thanks to Landon and Joshua for putting this on and taking the time, and, Select Blinds and Blue Emu for putting it on. It's an honor to be in it, and I was really surprised to make the show, and pretty bummed about that. I'm not even going to lie. That lap felt really good, and I just got, pretty greedy there off of 4, but thank you to everybody for putting this on, and thank you for everybody that, has believed in me and helped me get where I am right now.
Well, not to give away any secrets to anybody that's getting ready to qualify, but what kind of pointers can you give these guys that are getting ready to put on a show?
It's better to, underdrive it, since you won't risk doing what I did and, miss the lap. So, that's really it, it's better to underdrive it a tad than, put it on the edge and, risk not coming away with anything.
We thank you for your time tonight, and congratulations on making the top 40.
Thanks, y'all.
Well, Evan, we've got another one of the Radius Bounty drivers on the racetrack and on the wood getting ready to go at it, and it's Garrett Smithley.
Him in behind the wheel of that 51 Radius entry. Of course, trying to get his hot lap here in his one and only attempt. He'll ring it at a turn number 4. It's going to be a clean lap. Will it be a fast lap, though? To the start-finish line, not quite. A 27.715. He'll sneak in between Gorlinski and Henderson, which puts him right now P7.
I think Raj hit it on the head when we just spoke to him. Maybe underdrive this car to make sure you don't hit the wall and get a 0x. Some of these drivers might have that in the back of their mind. We've seen some really big names not be able to knock Mitchell Hunt off the top of the scoring pylon. We'll see what the rest of these drivers have as Garrett Smithley brings this one to pit road.
He's going to be off and away. The next driver up will be Malik Ray. There he is in the 51 machine down at the end of the pit lane. The Rowdy Energy Toyota, the driver out of Greer, South Carolina. So maybe a hometown boy can get this one done. He drives for Joe Gibbs Racing in the eRacr Coca-Cola iRacing Series, as well representing Dead Zone Racing. Let's see if he can get the job done in that 51 machine, Tim. If it's as fast as it is good looking, he's got a good opportunity here.
Beautiful looking race car. We mentioned on Tuesday night that last weekend he was a big winner in the iRacing Indianapolis 500 that was held on the service. So he's been coming off a wave of momentum the last week or so, makes the top 40, and now is going to be on the clock to try to knock off Mitchell Hunt off the top of the board at a 27.629 as he'll come out of corner number 4. He'll eye down the front straightaway. We'll see how conservative Malik Ray is on this lap. I don't think conservative and underdrive are in his vocabulary. He's going to be up on the wheel.
And again, that time in the top left quarter of your screen, not relevant. It's just a big enough session to allow all these drivers to go out and put down that one attempt at the best lap for $10,000. Saving himself a couple of feet on the outside. Here he comes at a turn number 4. Time to beat a 27.629. Can he do it? Yes, he does. A 27.596. Malik Ray to the top of the board.
I'm sure if he's on his Twitch stream, he's screaming, let's go right now, because that was a quick lap, puts him on the top of the board, and Malik Ray is now the one that everybody is chasing and currently in the $10,000 hot seat. But we're getting ready to bring some energy to the racetrack.
He continues to pick things up and to stick with that energy theme. It is Jimmy Mullis next onto the racetrack. The 19-year-old out of Midland, North Carolina. He's been a sim racer for 7 years, but as well a professional level now at the sim for 4 years. And he is sponsored by Coca-Cola Energy, the second driver that we've seen on track tonight, represented by the Coca-Cola Series team in the Richmond Raceway Esports. And this is definitely a guy to watch out for. Again, Tim, we still have not seen a time matching a top 40 qualifying time from last night. So in theory, you just got to go out there and repeat it. But again, we talked about the nerves of only having one lap, coupled with the fact that, again, these guys are sitting cold turkey on the pit lane for the last 30 minutes. They kind of feel cold, I think, going into this, and we'll see if that's a factor as Jimmy Mullis is on his lap.
Gorlinski touched on that when we spoke with him about thinking about your lap, a little bit of pressure being added to you as Jimmy Mullis rolls that Richmond Raceway Esports car down the back straightaway. He'll eye 3 and 4. We've seen some drivers here be a little conservative as he drives it down through 3 and 4. This looks pretty good right here, Evan. We'll see what it looks like on the stopwatch as he comes out of corner number 4. Checkered flag in the win for Jimmy Mullis, and Mullis will go to a 6.70, so it'll be good enough for position number 6, tied with Timmy Hill.
And he will tie him up for 5 and 6 on the board. But it is a new face at the top of the scoring to pile on to Malik Ray in front with 10 cars down. We'll be back for more. You're watching the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge on the iRacing Esports Network.
Hey, you reached the Muellers.
You gotta be kidding me. How do you not have blinds? I love select blinds.
John? You gotta get in here.
Back live for the virtual Darlington Raceway. 10 of our 40 drivers have gone in this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Select Blinds. Evan Pasoko, Tim Terry upstairs with you. And Tim, of course, this is the third iteration of this LCQC. We saw it at Charlotte back in 2010, back here at Darlington in the spring of 2011. But here tonight, that prize up to $10,000. So the drivers left-hand side of your screen, the top 10 in qualifying tonight, but again, reverse order from how they qualified in yesterday. So the positions 40 through 31 have gone, and Malik Ray tentatively at the top of the board, right-hand side of the screen. That is the order of the drivers due up next, and it will be Jose Salas Jr. in the number 75 machine on track now. We talk about all the connections to the top level of oval sim racing, Tim. Right now, he's holding a top 10 spot in the road to pro, obviously trying to get in with the Coca-Cola Series one day.
Yeah, trying to get up and make his name on Tuesday evenings and try to be the next Zach Novak and try to be the next Ryan Luza that have those championships, Ray Alfala. Those names are in this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge, so trying to turn some heads. You know, back in 2011, Kenny Humpy was a driver that was just starting in the series and looking to make a name for himself. Then he comes out with one of those championships. Could we see this at a Salas? He is on his hot lap. Down the back straightaway, he rolls at 75.
And again, this part of the racetrack, the tricky one, because that wall's going to come up at you at a turn number 4. He leaves a good amount of space, and objective 1 is complete. That is make sure the lap is clean. Is it fast, though, for Salas? Oh, he ties at the very top of the board. A 27.596, and it's going to give him a tiebreaker. Salas on top of Malik Ray with an identical lap time.
Well, we had one driver to watch. Now we have 2 drivers up at the top with the same identical lap time. And Evan, we saw that not only for the 40th place position, but the couple of drivers throughout had the ties, and obviously the tiebreaker broken by the iRacing service, and he is listed at the top. So Salas is the lap of record in the Simocube number 75 as we get ready to see Caden Honeycutt hit the racetrack.
Yeah, and can confirm that he is the fastest time, which means the margin of difference between those two cars goes down to the 1/10,000th of a second bracket, or a fourth decimal point. Of course, our timing and scoring will only show that to the third with that 5.96. But there is Caden Honeycomb out on the racetrack, the driver out of Aledo, Texas, who qualified in courtesy of a P38 position, or 28 I should say actually, yesterday, qualifying into all of this. And let's see what the next link number 10 Toyota Camry's got us.
You know, we're giving out $10,000 tonight. He's got the number 10 on his car. It's a shoe-in, right? As Caden Honeycutt goes down into corner number 1. He's not being conservative at all. Lets that thing drift up, cuts down at a corner number 2. Looks good so far, Evan, as he drives it down the back straightaway.
Oh, and he got the wall right there. You could see the sparks fly. I was listening in to see what he was doing on the throttle, and Honeycutt oversteps the boundary. That time will be disallowed. And surprisingly, Tim, for the first time since we saw Raja go up at the very start, the driver gets into that fence. Of course, Darlington known for that Darlington stripe, and that is now the second driver that will not get a valid lap.
These drivers have been dancing with the lady in black, and 2 of them have done the wrong dance move and have hit the wrong 1-2 step as Caden Honeycutt comes back to pit road. The next driver we'll see up on our screen, another one of our familiar drivers to the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series fans as he makes his way down pit road. It's the track pass number 4 of Santiago Tires as he gets ready to hit the line and get set for his qualifying lap and his shot at 10K.
And you can see he's got the North Carolina flag there, Tim. But the fun thing that I like is, we look back to these sim racers and kind of how they connect to the real world. And Santi, originally out of El Paso, Texas, is where he grew up. He raced 4-cycle and actually worked for a local sprint car team growing up. Currently a student at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, studying electrical engineering. All of that on top of his duties in the Coca-Cola iRacing Series, driving for Latar Esports. You talk about a full plate as that track pass Chevy's on track.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last couple of races we've covered on Tuesday nights, he's had decent qualifying efforts, so he knows how to get it done in a one-lap scenario. But this is Darlington, this is the lady in black, and we've got $10,000 on the line for this one lap. Green flag as we work through 1 and 2.
And of course, the time he's trying to beat, that 27.596. You can disregard the previous lap, as that was basically just for his warm-up. Let's see what Santi's got at a turn number 4 on the board with him. He was able to keep the throttle down, didn't have to feather it. A 27.595 to the top of the board for Santiago Tires.
1/1000th of a second to put him to the top of the board, and we have a new sheriff in town. Santiago Tires through 14 drivers. We're almost halfway, Evan. Not exactly there yet, but Santiago Tires has to feel pretty good about that lap.
It was a blistery lap. You talk about the success that he has had recently, and I'm not going to correct you because you were spot on with it. I mean, he has been real good the last couple of Tuesdays, the Coca-Cola Series, and of course, is still working on translating that into results, but this is a guy that has had a lot of good speed on Tuesday evenings. The next driver up going to be Brian Blackford, who he's got the NASCAR Hall of Fame colors on board, that number 41 Ford Mustang, the driver out of Seminole, Florida. He was a driver in the World Championship for 8 different seasons, and knows a thing or two, Tim, about this whole sim racing deal, one of the veterans.
Yeah, Brian Blackford up on the wheel. Really great to see Brian back in the spotlight. One of the most probably underrated drivers that we've had on Tuesday nights in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Really knows how to get up on the wheel and get it done in this virtual racing school. NASCAR Hall of Fame number 41. Does some wicked video work as well, too. I know he's good with a camera and good with editing software, too. So in his free time, not only does he get up on the wheel on the sim racing and on iRacing, he also knows how to shoot and edit a video as he is on his quick lap down into corner number 1.
You that talent not exclusive do the sim as well? Let's listen to the throttle in 3. You can see it was a little bit light when he got back onto it, but he didn't have to pull it back out to the start-finish line for Blackford. His time, a 27.651, middle of the road right now for Landon Cassill's eCrew chief over the last couple of weeks.
You know, you see that smile on the lower third. I'm sure he's a little disheartened by that lap, but Brian Blackford is one of the happiest people that I've met. So I'm sure the smile is still on his face, but I know he wanted a little bit more. But P7 currently through this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge, Evan.
Yeah, he'll bring it down to the pit lane. Let's bring some more faces into tonight's broadcast coverage as we wait for Ryan Doucette due up next to get onto the racetrack. Let's see if we can chat with those Richmond Raceway esports drivers, both of which we have already seen on track here this evening. And there they are, top left and bottom left. Let's say hello to the likes of Jimmy Mullis and Zach Novak. Guys, how you doing?
Doing well. Hope you are.
Doing pretty good.
We've got the catbird seat for all of this, and Zach, we'll go to you first because the 27.648, the best of the two of you so far. That is P6 in this one. Of course, doesn't match the lap that you did in practice today or yesterday, but we kind of talked about kind of going in there cold, only one lap. You can't get into the fence. What's that like on the nerves?
Oh, it's crazy. You know, when I first got into the Coca-Cola series in 2017, I had to qualify in every race, so I kind of know what it's like, but at the same time, that was, you know, this is crazy having to go out. 40 minutes of just sitting there and having to run a lap that, you know, could beat everybody else. There's 40 really good guys here, and any of them can lay down a 55 with a few laps to warm up. So, you know, that was just really nerve-wracking for me.
And Doucette on track it out for his lap time. And, you know, Jimmy, to that point, I think that what's the biggest thing? Is it the fact that it's one lap and, of course, any sort of incident point would DQ it? Or is it more so just going in so cold from sitting around as we see Doucette go with a 27.702?
Yeah, I think for me, you know, like Zach said, we had to sit there and wait. And then, you know, you're watching other guys go and you see them messing up. And then when you finally get in the car, like all you're thinking about is, you know, I can't hit the wall. So, like he said, it's really nerve-wracking. I know I went out there and kind of stepped on it in 1 and 2 and threw the whole lap away. But, you know, just to be a part of this is really cool. And, you know, thankful for the opportunity, and hopefully it happens again sometime. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, we look forward to catching you guys back on Tuesday. I got to ask, of course, being one of the most competitive teams in the Coke Series as we see Seth the Merchant get out on track. Did you guys make any bets? I mean, if you two were to go head-to-head, I'm sure you'd both say you're the best driver, right?
I mean, he's the one with the championship right now, but, you know, this year's not over with yet. Hopefully I can at least try to make it up and, you know, be tied with him in that way, but no, we didn't make any bets for today. It was just all in good fun, and I know we were both really nervous heading into this, and now that it's all over, it stinks that we're not on top, but it's still cool to be a part of.
Hey, Evan, I picked Zach Novak last week, and Zach Novak, well, didn't have the best of races on Tuesday night. So, Jimmy, what are we going to do here in a couple of weeks in Atlanta? Can we win that thing?
I hope so, Tim. Definitely going to try to. I need to if I want to start going somewhere in these points. So going to put a lot of work in like we have been, and you know, hopefully we qualify a little better there instead of like we did tonight.
I like that attitude, Evan.
That Zach, by the way, he made sure to put the check in the camera shot. So, Zach, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's been there for a little bit.
Well, we'll let you guys get out of here. We appreciate the time, and thanks for racing in this one. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday for the next round of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Those are the Richmond Raceway Esports duo of Zach Novak and Jimmy Mullis. You just saw Seth the Merchant onto the racetrack, Tim. I mentioned him earlier because he holds the iRacing world record here at Darlington in qualifying. He goes 27.607. That'll put him number 4 on the board. And next up on deck is Hunter O. Johnson, the driver out of Greenwich, Connecticut.
We've had a couple of drivers from New England the last couple of attempts up. Ryan Doucette, Seth the Merchant, and now Hunter O. Johnson gets ready to go on the loud pedal. Seth the Merchant's lap, fourth quick at a 27.60. And now Johnson on the wheel and getting ready to see what he has for these boys. Is this a $10,000 effort?
Well, you can see these drivers are still yielding a lot to that outside wall down at 1 and 2, representing Proximity Racing on his Ford Mustang tonight. Of course, that's one of the teams that competes in several of the series, including the likes of the eNASCAR Ignite Series. Here comes Johnson at a turn number 4. He looks to go to the top of the board, but he will slide in about the middle as he will find himself 9th with a 27.653. That's really only, Tim, 5/100ths off at the top position, but when you consider how tight 1, 2, and 3 are, it feels like a mile.
And it's 5/100ths off of $10,000 as he'll pull it back down to pit road, and we'll see where he shakes out after this run. But coming up next, we got a driver that is a former winner in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Great to see this 21 back in the spotlight on the eNASCAR side. Alan Bowes getting ready to hit the racetrack.
Yeah, that's the name that we haven't seen in just a few, years, but of course happy to have Alan back, and he's trying to get back to that level, Tim, running for Total Advantage Motorsports. That's the Landon Huffman group in the Road to Pro, trying to get back to the top of that mountain, and he is going to be in that Total Advantage Motorsports Toyota. We also heard with Landon that what they're doing right now, Tim, as well, going to be awfully scrutinized because drivers sometimes will try to heat up their tires, lock it up, get some heat into them, and there is a strict ban on any of that. So not only are we watching now, but of course race officials, Landon described it, it was basically like a post-race tech. They're going to go through the replay files for your top finishers and make sure there's no funny business. It has to come down to what you do on your lap, not before it, as Alan Bowes is on his flyer.
Wait, so Evan, you're telling me that a race car driver would try to get an advantage on the racetrack? I never heard of that concept before. Alan Bowes in the 21, though, up on the wheel, trying to get to P number 1. He's got to beat a 27.595. He'll come across the line at a 6.15. Alan Bowes, position at number 5. It was a good lap, but not good enough to unseat Santiago Tires from the top of the board.
And we're almost halfway through the field now, Tim. Allen was 22nd in qualifying last night. Of course, in theory, we're starting again from 40 and working our way up to number 1 on the speed chart. So, in theory, there's supposed to be a decent chance that each car that goes out there gets faster. But again, with only that one attempt, has these drivers a little bit nervous. The fact that they've been sitting on pit lane for now more than an hour as Graham Bolin is due up next, the driver for Joe Gibbs Racing in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series out of Houston, Texas. That is a real nice interstate batteries car.
We've mentioned he has really come on strong the last couple of weeks. A rookie in that series has worked his way up into the playoff cutoff area, about halfway through towards the playoffs in that eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. So Graham Bolin has had something to prove so far in 2020, and he's done quite well. We'll see what he can do here as he is now on the clock for his Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge lap.
Been a while since we've seen a new fast time. Again, Tires and Solis along with Malik Ray. The 5.95.96 range is Hamida Sparks there on the entry to turn number 3. Does that mean he'll be getting an incident point? No, but there he will. Bowling into the outside wall ever so slightly. At a turn 4, Tim, if that was a race lap, he would shrug it off. But in qualifying, there is no bending. And that contact wipes the lap for the 18 off the board.
And with that, we are halfway through. Cross flags out in this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Select Blinds. Been exciting so far, and 20 more to go, Evan.
And with 20 down, it is Santiago Tires on the top of the board. Will he be caught? The fast 20 on track next in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Select Blinds.
if every moment of your life is on display, if your business seems to be everyone else's business, it's time for SelectBlinds.com. SelectBlinds.com can keep your life more your own. Visit SelectBlinds.com. Right now, save 30% on all blinds and keep your business your business.
Coverage of this LCQC is brought to you by Select Blinds. And if you think buying custom blinds is harm, it's time to think differently. Select Blinds thinks no. They know that you can do it yourself because at SelectBlinds.com, it's easy. It's easier and cheaper than shopping at big box or other online blind stores, and not to mention less time consuming and more convenient than using overpriced in-home design installation services. At SelectBlinds.com, you never have to leave the house to find the high-quality custom blinds and shades you need, all made to fit your exact measurements. They guarantee it at all at a great price, so you can be proud to have them hanging in your home. When we talk about heavy hitters, Tim Terry has welcomed everybody back into the booth, along with myself, Evan Pasoko. The bottom 20, if you will, 40th through the number 21 spots have gone onto the board, and it is Santiago Gutierrez provisional pole right now. Next up, the number 87 machine of Bobby Zelensky, and it's funny because he describes himself as an above-average driver in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. I think that would be selling himself a little bit short, the driver for Team VRS out of Fresno, California.
One of the top drivers every time we hit the racetrack on Tuesday evenings, a part of the virtual racing school, and we saw it on those shots coming up to speed. What a beautiful looking number 83. The lights just shine off of that car. There it is right there. Hats off to all the painters that had a hand in that one. He's on his lap right now, and John Gorlinski said earlier, if it doesn't look fast, at least make it look good. I think Bobby Zelensky has both of those checked off here.
As it comes down the back straightaway, nice and easy that time. 1 and 2 has not been the issue tonight. It's been down here in 3 and 4. He was able to get in clean to 3. He was right up against the outside wall, and the exit. Oh, he got the fence, though. Zelensky. It looked so good, but it will not count. That final few seconds, Tim, the turn 4 wall catches another victim.
So a lot of good names being caught off guard, especially in turn 4. We go back to what Raj Karu said earlier. Maybe be a little conservative and underdrive turn number 4, but not underdrive it enough that you lose any time. It's a very tough balance. It's Darlington. You have to make sure you are up on the wheel and up on the wheel enough to make it happen as we get ready for our next qualifier in this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. Another driver who we are very familiar with, a former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion in Michael Conti.
A past series champion in the Coke Series in 2014, a 9-time race winner. Going to get set to roll off in the WR1 Sim Chassis entry. And let's chat with the driver at the top of the board right now, Santiago, a 27.595's got you on top. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. That was a pretty solid lap. I missed a little bit probably in 3 and 4, but I'm pretty happy with that lap. I think if it gets me, I won't be too disappointed. Some really good guys still left, but I was pretty happy with that lap.
What was the strategy like for this one as we see Conti go for his flyer? Because, of course, any wall contact takes you out of it. So how much do you think you dialed it back from 100% just to make sure the lap you put down was clean and would count?
Yeah, so, you know, the track is a little bit different than all offline testing. That's just something that you gotta run. And I got a good idea from practice of what the track felt like, so I kind of knew my limits. So let's see what Conti runs here. Let's say, okay, so dodged another bullet there. So there's a lot of good guys, but yeah, just making sure that you're just nice and smooth, hitting your marks, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Keeping your nerves under control. That's really hard to do. right now.
Yeah, that looked like a real good lap for Mike there with a 6.7.4. He goes to 14th. If you look at the list of names on deck here, I mean, are there any in specific that you're worried about, or would that be all 19 that are still left?
To be honest with you, I mean, I feel like all 19 are capable of beating that time. Obviously, there's a couple really good guys that from the Coke side, like Ray and Luza and Keegan and Ottinger. So and even Kerwin. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough probably for that time to hold up. I know there's a lot of good people, but I'm pretty optimistic. That was the best I could do. That's all you can do.
Well, hopefully for your sake, we're going to be chatting in with you as well a little bit later on. That's the driver currently on the top of the board in Santiago Tires. And you want to talk about some history in this LCQC. The inaugural winner for back in 2010, Tim Terry, is also in the Radius Chevy tonight with a 1K bonus on the line. It is Jason Lofine. He finished first at Charlotte in 2010 and second here in 2011. Does he have some more of the magic?
Yeah, I think he does, Evan. It's just a matter of how quick he can pull this number 26 Radius Bounty car through 3 and 4. Spoke with J-Lo last night. He was over the moon about how tight these times were. Tight off of 4, comes to the checkered flag, and J-Lo is going to go to about mid-pack or so. It's a 27.650. That'll put J-Lo up in position number 9. He kind of joked last night, doesn't do a whole lot of racing. He's a spotter for Logan Clampett in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. He's been doing some reporting throughout the years as well. And he kind of joked last night in the heat races. All of these 19 qualifying sessions had heat races attached to them, 5-lap races, inverted field, $15 to win each of them. Kind of joked that he wasn't really a racer, but was able to get up on the wheel for at least 5 laps last night. So J-Lo, a former LCQC champion, will qualify in 9th, which will mean, Evan, that we'll have a brand new LCQC champion in 2020.
It guarantees us that we will see a first-time champion. So let's see how this one shakes out. Next on deck is Donovan Strauss, who was the 17th fastest driver in yesterday's qualifying session that saw 211 different drivers try to get to this point. The JDR Graphics Toyota coming to start his lap.
He's a Bandolero driver, runs at the Thunder Ring at Atlanta Motor Speedway, so he knows how to get up on the wheel, but now it's a pressure-packed situation for the youngster looking to win at $10,000 as he runs down the back straightaway in the JDR Graphics 51, looking to open the cash registers here through 3 and 4.
Back into the throttle. He's clean at turn number 4. What's the lap time going to be for the 51 machine? He will go top of the board. A 27.584. And Donovan Strauss, your new pole sitter.
Not bad for a youngster. These youngsters don't know pressure, I don't think, Evan. Got up on the wheel and put it to the top of the board. I'm sure JD Laird at the top of that pit box is a happy camper. The JD Army number 51 will bring it back to pit road at the top of the board, but there are still a bunch of bullets to dodge. Santi mentioned it in his interview. There's one that he couldn't dodge and move the 4 back to position number 2.
And of course, as these drivers start to fall down the qualifying lineup, and you can see the full running order left-hand side of your screen, they're all still going to be in the money. Of course, biggest payouts to your top 3, $10,000 to the winner, $1,000 to second, and $500 to third. As Logan Clampett is off at Ray. Tim, let's see if you've got Malik Ray on radio.
Yeah, let's see if we can't catch up with Malik Ray. Malik, you've been in some pressure-packed situations on iRacing before. How is the pressure on your lap in this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge? Hey, Malik, it's Tim Terry up in the booth. You got a copy? Well, Evan will work on that as Logan Clampett is on his hot lap.
Yeah, maybe in a bit of a debrief as he sits right now again to fourth on the board in that tie with Jose Salas Jr., but the tiebreaker to the 75. And it is the entry of Logan and Clampett, another one of our eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers. I saw some sparks fly on the entry to turn number 3. The driver for Burton Kligerman Esports, hashtag thanks to truckers on that Chevy Camaro. The start-finish line, he goes top 10, a 27.638. It'll put him in 9th for the moment.
He only beat his spotter in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series by about 100th and change. Do you think there's going to be any talk or any conversation about that with J-Lo almost hanging up the wheel per se and not doing a whole lot of iRacing himself and transitioning to the top of the tower and spotting for this 99 car? I'm sure there's probably going to be a little bit of chatter back and forth as we get ready to see the next driver on the racetrack. And on our camera, it's the 90 of Alex LeBay.
I think certainly if Logan's having a bit of a rough night that the spotter may offer to jump in, but I think Logan happy that he just was able to be faster, because I think the jabbing may have been a little bit worse if he actually ended up below the 33 on the times. But there it is, Alex LeBay. Tim, we talked about the likes of some of these other drivers, Garrett Smithley, Timmy Hill, who have gotten a lot of great exposure coming over to the iRacing service and kind of showing off their talents over the last few weeks. And this is another driver who has done the same. The driver at Victoriaville, part-time at a NASCAR Xfinity Series, of course, may be known as well for his participation in the NASCAR Pinty Series, and he has been one of the best cars all month long across our qualified races and Saturday Night Thunder and more. So this 90 machine, a real threat.
And he's been doing a lot of racing. We saw him obviously in the Cup car for the Pro Invitational. We saw him in the ARCA National car at Bristol. We've seen him in the Xfinity style race car. I know the NASCAR Pinty Series is putting something together on Sunday at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. So he'll be in the Xfinity car again for that on TSN. But man, he has been so talented, not only on the real racetrack, but also on this virtual racetrack, switching in and out between cars. But now the pressure is on through 3 and 4.
And he's a little bit lower now, down in turn 4. Did we have seed most drivers? Will that work for or against him? LeBay to the finish line, and he slides in right behind Logan Clampett. It'll put him P10 with a 27.646.
So Alex LeBay will slide into the top 10, but that's so far. We've still got some heavy hitters coming up, and we'll get ready to see the next driver on the racetrack. I believe we have 14 or so left in this 40-car field as LeBay rolls it back to pit road, and we get ready to see the next bullet that Donovan Strauss has to dodge, and here he comes on your screen. It's Stephen Wilson.
Second car as well we've seen with those Total Advantage Motorsports colors is it will be Wilson out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, the 2017 Division 4 National Series champion. So you talk about, those different kind of cars, those ARCA Menard Series styled cars, and Wilson and iRacing official series champion in those from a couple of years back. Tonight, though, trying to do it against some of the best in the world, not exclusive to the sim. I've also seen, Tim, some drivers getting up on the fence on their warm-up lap. That is not disallowed. Again, it only matters start-finish to start-finish. He's on his flyer, though. Let's see how he does.
How far do you straddle that line to get yourself a fast time? Wilson through 1 and 2, dives it down at a 2, up near the wall at a turn 2, and down the back straightaway. How much do you get? How hungry do you get? And how much do you want 10K as he works through 3 and 4? This one's going to be close.
To the start-finish line, it's clean at a turn number 4 for Stephen Wilson. Not what he wanted, only a 27.672. He is way down in the running order in 17th.
So not the lap that he wanted, but still made the top 40, and currently on the upper half of that top 40, in that top 20 area, as we get ready to see another driver we're familiar with on Tuesday evenings, getting ready to make another delivery, and hopefully it's to the bank, and for $10,000, it's Justin Bolton in the Stuart Haas Esports Busch Beer delivery at number 10.
And of course, not only just driving for SHR Esports in the Coke Series, but as well, Tim, the engineer for the number 98 Xfinity program at Stewart-Haas. He's got a whole host of real-life experiences amongst late models and legends cars. A 2013 Fall Classic champion at Hickory Motor Speedway. That's a racetrack that I can't quite tell why, but people have been talking about a lot recently, and we'll see what the number 10 Ford has got as he is off on track. Again, last night in the qualifying, he was he was further up the hill, I should say, for Bolton. He was 13th in the qualifier session. Let's see what he can do here tonight. He's aiming for that 5.84 by Strauss.
Working his way down through 3 and 4. He'll come up this time and take the green flag on his qualifying effort, and we'll see what the Stewart-Haas Esports Ford has for these drivers as Bolton is now on the clock and looking to make a big splash. You know, $10,000 could go a long way with a legend car career.
I think all these drivers can find a use for that $10,000. A lot of them in the middle of schooling as well. For the younger drivers, that could certainly come in handy. Here is Justin Bolton at a turn number 4. It'll be a clean lap. Will it be a fast lap? It's good. A 27.638. It'll bump down Clampett as he takes over the number 9 position. So good in the money where he'll probably make up the entry fee, but again, not the $10,000 that he was hoping for. And we will stick with this Coca-Cola Series theme, Tim, as we get set for Alex McCollum to go on a racetrack. Let's give Malik Gray another try.
Let's give it another try. Malik Gray, it's Tim Terry and Evan Pasoko up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing good. Pressure pack situation, this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge is. You've been in a lot of pressure pack situations on the service before. How does this one compare?
It's a lot of pressure. It's probably like the most pressure that I've ever felt, like when I'm on track. Like just knowing that you only have like one chance at the lap, it makes it like really hard. So like it just, you know, it's really hard to, you know, try to concentrate on it.
Now, looking forward, we mentioned these drivers maybe trying to be a little conservative and maybe kind of underdrive this. Any pointers for these 10 or 12 that are getting ready to hit the racetrack?
I don't have any pointers for them because I'm trying to finish ahead of all of them. So, by all means, I hope they all hit the wall or choke or, you know, like, I'm not trying to have them, like, pass me on the board, so.
Well, great effort tonight. Congratulations on making the top 40. And, hey, congratulations on the Indy 500 win last weekend. That was great to see.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
That's Malik Gray and the Rowdy Energy Ride as Alex McCollum up on the wheel.
And we talk about streamers. If you're on the Twitch side of things, make sure to follow Malik, one of the best follows on there as well. Here's McCollum for his timed lap, a 27.637. That's kind of the sweet spot for a lot of these drivers. 5/100s off of the very best, but the driver for G2 Esports puts his Chevy in position number 9 on the qualifying board, and now we are on the doorstep of your Fast 10. Next up will be Nathan Lyon. So, Tim, I'm noticing the theme that we do have the real-life pros, and we do have, you know, some of the drivers through the ranks of the top oval stuff, but I think the Coca-Cola guys taking this personal and making this as an opportunity to prove a point that they are some of the best sim racers in the world. They, by far and large, make up a bulk of this field. And so Lyon is up next, the driver of the number 6 car for Roush Fenway in the Coca-Cola Series. He's got the Acronis colors on board, that Mustang tonight. He's at the end of the pit lane, and he waits for the green light.
And, you know, we chat about this being one lap. These eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers, especially in the last 2 weeks, Evan, have put on a great show with some long green flag runs. There's no long green flag run here tonight. You've got to get up on the wheel for about a lap and a half to your warm-up all the way up to the green and checkered flags as Nathan Lyon going to get ready to go on the clock here and see what he has. His teammate Colin Keister scored big on Tuesday night, winning the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series event. Can he win the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge and complete the week for Roush Fenway Esports? He's on the clock.
Good so far in 1 and 2, but with everybody we've talked to, 3 and 4 is really the deal breaker when it chokes up. He is right on the outside wall. Very little margin. Clean out of turn 4. It looks good for Nathan Lyon. The score sheet is decent. A 6-3-2 puts Nathan Lyon into the number 9 position. Tim, and I'll be honest with you, that one got me excited. He was right up on the outside wall. I think the closest we've seen so far tonight of the drivers who kept it off the fence.
Nathan Lyon and Justin Bolton, especially in these last few qualifiers, have really laid it out in turn number 4. Evan, I think you're going to have to do that in order to win this event, but you're going to have to be conservative to make sure you don't overstep that line and get the fence.
30 cars down, the Fast 10 are next. Donovan Strauss on the top of the board. The next challenger, a man by the name of Denny Hamlin. When we come back, we determine the champion of the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge on the iRacing Esports Network.
Hi, I'm Rusty Wallace.
And I'm Johnny Bench.
And we're no strangers to big-time pain.
Which is why we trust Blue Emu's pain relief products.
I use it every day to keep me on the move because winning never gets old.
Blue Emu pain relief products, non-greasy, deep penetrating formula gets down deep into your muscles and joints to do its magic.
And speaking of magic,
Blue Emu, maximum pain relief, the official pain relief cream of NASCAR.
And back live for the virtual Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. 30 drivers down, 10 drivers to go in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge presented by Select Blinds. Donovan Strauss on the top of the board, Tim Terry, but the fastest 10 from last night's qualifier are due up next on the right-hand side of your screen. And it starts with challenger number 31 on the night, and that is the driver of the number 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, one Denny Hamlin. Going to be taking his shot first, and he will be followed by a whole host of sim racing's heaviest hitters down through Keegan Leahy to go last.
We've got a ton of championships, a ton of race wins in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, but, you look through their sim racing accomplishments through and through for these 10. You want to talk about sim racing accomplishments? This guy once won an FLM 400 back in the day. Denny Hamlin, a Daytona 500 champion, a current Daytona 500 champion, and looking to be on the hammer here. He bookended the Pro Invitational Series with wins, and now he's going to try to pocket 10K in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. He's been in pressure-packed sim races and situations before. I don't think this is anything new for him, but it's a new Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge for the driver of the number 99 Jordan Toyota.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about that Toyota. Real nice ride, of course. Jordan Brand on the board, the team that he owns in the Coca-Cola iRacing Series. As Hamlin is on his lap, the driver, Chesterfield, Virginia, a little bit higher up the hill. As we're on board with him.
Hamlin runs down the back straightaway. Looked good, looked a little conservative through 1 and 2, which is what you need. How much does he try to get at a turn 3 and 4? He'll cut down the racetrack. Up the hill he goes. I think he left a little on the table, Evan. Checkered flag comes out at a 27.698. Yeah, he left a little bit on the table. P23.
And not what he wanted, and you saw it there. It was that low exit at a turn number 4, just that little bit of timidness, obviously not wanting to get into the outside wall, and it puts the number 99 machine down in the running order, not the showing that Hamlin wanted after he put down a 5.33 yesterday. So again, all the cars from this point on only have to match their best time from yesterday, and they would go to the top of the board. But very different circumstances, Tim, as Ray Alfala is next on track, the driver out of Cape Coral, Florida. You talk about sim racing experience, a 4-time eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series champion. And by the way, he used to have to win a whole season of that to get $10,000 back in the day. Now he can match that with 1 lap if the number 2 VRS Chevy is up to it.
He had a front row starting position a couple of weeks ago on Tuesday night for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. So qualifying especially the last couple of weeks, has really been his strong suit, has been his forte. We'll see if he can match it here, put it up at the top of the board, and collect some more money as he gets ready for his Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge lap, working through 3 and 4 on the warm-up, getting ready to see green.
And we saw his teammate in the Coke Series, Bobby Zelensky, on track earlier. VRS making their official foray into the series this season. Of course, you can go to virtualracingschool.com, and they provide great insights and training for those looking to advance to maybe some of the more serious levels of sim racing. Some sparks on the entry to turn number 3. Is that within the allowed limit? He's tight on the fence at a 4, but clean on that end. Can Alfala go fast in the LCQC? It is a 27.657. So he is back in the pack, unable to crack a top 10 spot.
He'll roll it back down to pit road, and I'm sure Ray Alfala wanted a little more out of his lap, but we're coming down to the final 8 drivers or so to try to throw a time up at that 27.584 that Donovan Strauss currently has. He's got some bullets to dodge, including this one. Garrett Lowe has run strong the last few weeks in this eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series that we cover on Tuesdays, and now he'll be looking for a good lap here.
He sits 4th in the championship coming into this evening. Of course, took over that ride for the Wood brothers this year. They still have their patriotic colors on that ride spin Ford Mustang from a race at Charlotte Motor Speedway this past Tuesday. So really cool to see that. And Garrett, you mentioned, has been one of the kind of breakout stars of the season this year. Don't be shocked if he goes late in the playoffs on those Tuesday night broadcasts as that season works on. But here tonight, none of that matters. There's no buy-in if you're a pro driver. Landon mentioned it off at the top, Tim, just seeing Denny Hamlin to go, that he had to qualify in just like everybody else. And Garrett Lowe going to have to do what the last dozen or so haven't been able to do, and that is best of 5.84 as his lap is green.
And those drivers near the top, it's been a while since we've seen somebody really enter the top 8 or so, as Garrett Lowe is on his hot lap down the back straightaway, looking to break open the top 10 or so and get up here and try to cash his way into 10 grand. We talk about 10 grand going a long way for a Legends racer. Evan, this could be it.
Oh, but he got the fence to the turn 4, and he knows that throws it away. It looked so good, especially in 3, up on the outside wall. However, just got that safer barrier as it almost sticks out a little bit when the wall straightens out. And Garrett Lowe will not even be given a lap time. Your 9th driver to the end of this one, actually 8th, I should say, 8th fastest from last night, does not go on the scoring pylon.
So he'll roll back to pit road, and we'll see another big name come up. It's Nick Ottinger, winner from Dover in that eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, the 25 for William Byron Esports. His teammate went a little bit earlier, so not only is he trying to take away 10K tonight, just keep in mind, John Gorlinski's lap was a 27.714. Just keep that in the back of the mind, too.
And I don't know if this was self-authored or not, but of course he's the second winningest driver in Coca-Cola Series history with 15. That's been a fun storyline this season. He and Ryan Luza going back and forth. He sits with 15 career wins, Tim, but his official bio also says that he has the best hair in the series. He likens it to the Kyle Petty ponytail swag.
Yeah, I could probably go with that. I think Christian Chalner has a flowing hair too, or flowing locks. Easy for me to say. So it might be a little bit of a competition. That might be something to look at next Tuesday night when we head to Atlanta. But we get ready to see Ottinger on the clock. The Logitech William Byron Esports number 25 is on the clock.
Little bit of a lift into the corner, but he had to get back out of it for a split second. Is that going to hurt? The number 25 Logitech G Chevy into 3 and 4. Is he going to push it up on the outside wall? Let's see if he can get off the quarter clean. Yes, he does, barely. What'll be the lap time for Nick Ottinger? a 27.680. Still down and outside of those top 15.
And that was almost a tenth off of what Donovan Strauss put up. I'm not sure if the track slowed down at all or anything, Evan, but it seems like these guys haven't been getting closer to that top of the board that we're used to seeing. I think this guy up here coming up next, obviously Ryan Luza is going to be quick. Keegan Leahy's going to be quick. I think if you're looking for maybe a sleeper in this top 10, you throw your money on this William Esports number 5 of Matt Busa.
We talk about drivers that have been having a good run, and Matt Busa did not get a result he wanted at Charlotte, but he has been one of the more impressive drivers as well this year. Of course, hard to go head-to-head with your teammate in the series in Ryan Luza, who's the points leader and is up in a couple more cars' time, but the driver out of Peoria, Illinois, driving his car that he drives on Tuesday nights, an 8-year veteran of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. He is given the green light, and he is off and away. Busa last night was 6th fastest.
He was pretty quick in the practice sessions leading up to this and always knows how to put the wood down and put the chips down when the pressure is on. I think Matt Busa is going to have something here, but it all depends what he can get. We've seen some of these drivers try to get a little too much at a turn 3 and 4. We've seen some drivers be conservative in 1 and 2. He is going to be up on the wheel, you best believe it. Green flag here as he drives it down into 1.
Was one of the more aggressive drives in the center of 1 and 2 as far as separation for the outside wall. You don't want to rim ride it though like you do in 3 and 4 because you do kind of have to undercut that exit off of turn number 2 to get a good one. It leaves a fair bit of space up top. What will it be for Matt Busa? Clean at a turn number 4, trying to go for a 5.84, but he is not happy with it. And in fact, that lap time will not count. It is disallowed for contact with the fence, Tim, and honestly, I didn't see where it happened.
That's a tough break for Matt Busa as he'll bring the Chill Blast forward back down to pit road. And we talked about the Lady in Black breaking some hearts tonight. I think that might have been one that was near the top of a couple of sheets that might have been able to take away 10 grand, but not going to be able to do it here this evening. We talked about teammates in this Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. This next driver is the second of 3 Denny Hamlin Racing teammates that we've seen. Get ready to see Casey Kerwin come up.
Yeah, we talked about Denny Hamlin, a team owner in that championship, and this is, of course, one of his drivers. The other was Best last night. We'll see him a little bit later on in Keegan Leahy. But, of course, not only does he compete in this, but as well, we talked about streamers. You can follow Casey at twitch.tv/Casey Kerwin. I'm sure he's given everybody a good view of things, how it shakes out. And I think a small delay here as race control just tries to work out an issue with the scoring with Matt Busa. So that is why we do not currently have Casey on track. So we'll see how it shakes out. There it is, though, as he rolls out of his pit stall, the Jordan brand number 23 Toyota. Tim, I got to say, some of the best-looking cars on the grids Tuesdays.
We saw that 99 glimmer underneath these lights at Darlington, and another one here getting ready to roll to the grid. And here comes Casey Kerwin getting ready for his qualifying lap in the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. Just to keep in mind, you know, teammate rivalry. I'm sure there's a little bit of back and forth jabbing a little bit. Denny Hamlin's lap was a 27.698. So we'll see if Casey Kerwin can top the team owner as he gets ready to go on his warm-up lap. Gonna see green this time.
Well, that would be the ultimate bragging rights, is to make sure you're faster than the boss. I think that gives you some stable job security as Casey Kerwin is off and away. Up next, though, after him, it'll be just the 4 cars remaining. So Casey, 5th best last night. His best lap at 27.525 is trying to beat a 5.84 by Donovan Strauss. It's going to be made or break down here. He gets up against the outside wall. He's got to cut it down low, and it'll be clean at a turn number 4. What'll be the lap time for Casey Kerwin? He goes top 10 with a 6.13 as he slides into P6.
It's the first time we've seen a driver come close to the top 5 in at least 10 or 12 drivers, Evan. So Casey Kerwin putting up a time on the board, and not good enough for the top 5, but he knocked on the door. We talked about dodging bullets. Donovan Strauss has had to dodge one there as we look at another Radius Bounty driver coming out onto the racetrack, and he's got some racing pedigree. He was over here racing the K&N, what is now the ARCA Menard Series, does some racing in his homeland in Australia. Can't wait to see Brody Kostecki hit the racetrack here. Great to see him back in the spotlight.
Yeah, and he was a late entry to that Radius Bounty car. If you weren't with us earlier, we also saw Garrett Smithley and another driver behind the wheel of this same car. And Radius put up a bounty that if you drive this paint scheme and you win the $10,000 prize, they'll add an extra $1K onto your prize. That is why it's the $1K on the side of that Chevy Camaro. And till we talk about different racing setups, that is not a stock car wheel.
Yeah, it's a neat setup that he has there, and the little bit of a lean he's got coming out of the corner. He is on the clock now as you ride on board down into turn number 1. Is this a $10,000 plus a $1,000 bounty lap for Brody Kostecki? We'll find out soon.
He's a lot higher up in 3 to 4 than some of the other drivers, but he got the outside wall at a turn 4, and you can see his reaction as it happened. Kostecki oversteps the line, and he will not get credited with an official qualifying after coming into this as the P4 seed.
I don't know if we can get a shot of the right-hand side of that race car, but there's a nice Darlington stripe up the side of that Radius Bounty car, and you can see it right there, just past the B post. You can see that Darlington stripe. He was going for it. That's a $10,000 effort, but that's all it is an effort. As we see the next car roll up. Hold on, let me grab my sunglasses.
Yeah, we've seen some wild paints, and let's add this one to the list. The number 98 machine of Eddie Kerner, originally Matthews, North Carolina, or actually Melbourne, Australia, you mentioned. A V8 supercar driver and a part-time sim racer. So we talk about that real-world flavor, and that car's got a whole lot of that flavor. And see what the number 98 Ford can do. His lap time last night was a 27.520. Again, that's nearly half a tenth of a second better than our current pole time by Donovan Strauss. Tim, who that 14 machine's been sweating at the top of the scoring pylon for a while now. These are your final 3 cars. Kerner takes the green.
Another driver really quick in the practice sessions as he skates it up the racetrack a little bit into turn number 1. Going to be able to cut it down here. He's laying it all on the line, down the back straightaway, looking for $10,000 to the cash registers open this time for Eddie Kerner.
Right up at the outside wall. We watch it at turn 4. He keeps it off of it. What'll be the lap time for the 98 Ford of Kerner? Yes, he does! By 1/1000th of a second with a 27.583. Eddie Kerner to the top of the board with 2 cars left.
That was big. 1/1000th of a second. Donovan Strauss gets knocked off the top of the board. But Eddie Kerner in no way can relax. He's got a couple of cars left to go, so maybe he's got $500 in the pocket, but he wants 10 grand. He's got a couple of cars, though, a couple of bullets he has to dodge. But bright race car, quick lap time, currently P1.
And a well-done job for that driver as Eddie Kerner comes in here, the 19-year-old out of Chicago, Illinois, I should say. I was still talking about Kostecki with that other entry before, but it was Kerner, the 19-year-old out of Chicago, Illinois, that goes to the top of the board. And, Tim, that was so fast. Let's relive it again with the 98 machine by 1/1000th to the top of the board. I don't know about you, Tim, but that looked like a winning lap. I don't know if you could get closer to the outside wall, not only in center, but on exit as well. And we talked about how much $10,000 and how far it could go. He's currently in college as a music major. This would be huge for the 98, but you talked about there being 2 more bullets in the chamber. And this one is due up next. Ryan Luza, the driver for Williams Esports in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, and one of the best drivers in that series for the last 4 years, is going to make his attempt.
He knows a thing or two about pressure, Evan. If anybody's going to try to unseat Eddie Kerner, Ryan Luza might be the driver to do so. The Williams Esports Chill Blast number 53 pulls up to the line, waits for Josh Mendoza to give him the go-ahead, and he'll get ready to roll off the line, see what he has for one lap, and see if it's worth $10,000. 5:83 is the time to beat as Luza still sits there. He had to sit already for at least an hour or so, Evan. I'm sure this is killing him. A couple of seconds won't hurt.
Yeah, I wonder how much the difference is for the first couple of cars that went out in qualifying here. They sat for about 20 to 30 minutes, but of course, Luza going so late, he found himself way at the back. And in fact, Luza, I believe, has been parked by race control.
It would be an advantage, Evan, to sit there for longer than the rest of your competitors. Ryan Luza has been shown the black flag by Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge officials. We're down to 1. The driver from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Keegan Leahy, going to be on the clock here. His teammate is currently 7th. The time to beat is a 27.583. And now Keegan Leahy sits and gets ready for his qualifying attempt.
And an active conversation going on as Ryan Luza tries to plead his case. Tim, he's saying he had his chat disabled, so he didn't have to listen to everybody talking throughout the whole session. He did not hear the command to go, and because of that, he will be not allowed at the moment to take his lap for sitting there and idling after race control issued him to go to the racetrack. So what is a $10,000 qualifying challenge without some drama? The last driver, Keegan Leahy, looks for the green flag.
He came within a couple of corners to winning the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series Championship last season, and now Keegan Leahy will look to get on the clock. The student at Dalhousie University in Halifax looking to put a long way to tuition with $10,000 American through 3 and 4. Evan, is this enough to win $10K?
I saw some spars. Can the driving coach show him how it's done? Here we go for the LCQC final car. Keegan Leahy, no! He will tuck in line in the number 7 position, and it is the 98 machine of Eddie Kerner, the 19-year-old out of Chicago, Illinois, who beats all the pros, and Kerner is the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge champion in 2020.
Pressure-packed situation. Track may have slowed down just a little bit. Doesn't matter. Eddie Kerner got up on the wheel from P38 and was able to take the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. Donovan Strauss won 1,000th of a second back. Santi Tires, Solis, Malik Ray, your top 5. There he is sitting on pit road. It's bright. We wear our sunglasses at night, but it doesn't matter. He's got $10,000, right?
Yeah, the car was so bright that he had me reading the wrong bio when he went out and onto the racetrack. And maybe that was the decision, Tim, to scare the rest of the field into submission, confuse them, and maybe, get through the lasers in post-race tech. Of course, all of this unofficial. As we heard from Landon Cassill earlier, they're going to look at the onboard video and the replay with all the drivers just to make sure that there were no rules infractions. Of course, you could see with Luza, though, a very, very short leash as they monitored everything in live time. And for Tim, all the big names that we hyped up and talked about this, Kerner, a spoiler tonight at the Lady in Black.
We kind of saw that back in 2010 when Jason Loafing took the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. A name that was on our radar, was a part of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series scene back in the day. But now Eddie Kerner gets ready to light it up on the front straightaway, and he is going to celebrate a Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge win. 3 Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenges, 3 different winners, and the Lady in Black has found its mate tonight, I think, in Eddie Kerner.
When Jason Loafing did it back in 2010 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it was a $1,000 prize. Humpy bumped it up that following May here at Darlington with $2,200, but never, I don't think in sim racing, has $10,000 been given out for one single lap. And tonight, it belongs to the driver right there in the number 98 machine of Eddie Kerner. Let's talk with your Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge champion, Eddie Kerner, tonight in 2020. Eddie, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm still shaking a little bit, but it's cool. I don't know. I'm lost for words.
I mean, you knew you had speed coming into this one based on the qualifying yesterday, the third best time. And I mean, tonight I think was about nerves, but also was about mistakes. A lot of big names getting into the outside wall. How were you able to walk that balance between aggression, but making sure the lap counted better than anybody else?
I was watching a lot of the fast guys. The quickest people all week have been me, Graham, and Busa. And when Busa got in a little too hot in the turn one and kind of scuffed his lap up already, I knew I had to just take a deep breath and slow down turn 1 and 2. 3 and 4 has been my bread and butter all week. That's where no one's been able to kind of match me in speed. And I just knew I had to put together a solid 3 and 4 and I'd be able to get it. And I don't know.
Well, we kind of spent all night talking about the Denny Hamlins and, of course, the drivers in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. So, I mean, it's one thing to be fast, but to be the fastest against the literal best on the surface and in the real world, aside from the prize, we'll get to that in a moment, just the fact that you came out here and proved the point, what does that mean to you?
I've been looking for something to prove myself. I've ran the NASCAR iRacing series fixed and stuff like that, and I'm in Road to Pro, but it was cool to actually go up against the best of the best, real life and in sim, and to be able to compete and to beat them. It's undescribable how awesome it is.
You mentioned as well that you play baseball in college, majoring in music. Well, you just made $362 per second on that lap as you walk away with $10,000. What will that mean to you?
It means I don't know. I'm still at lost for words, but the money, yeah, it's cool. We've been struggling here, and to get some money from racing. I've spent the past 3 days, as Graham calls it, slaving at this. Just I've had to put down over 800 laps, and for it to pay off, it's awesome.
You are the third different champion of the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. Tonight you do it from the Darlington Raceway. Eddie, who do you want to say hi to? This is your moment.
Dad, my mom, my sister, whoever's watching. I post on Snapchat, so whoever's watching my Snapchat, and thank you to all my teammates in there. It's back at Nexus. We're a Road to Pro team, but hoping to go into the Coke Series here coming, and it's amazing.
We would love to see you guys there, Eddie. Congratulations on the win tonight, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you down the road.
Thank you.
He is your champion tonight for the virtual Darlington Raceway with a lap time of 27.583. The margin of victory, Tim, 1/1000th of a second. Eddie Kerner, the third LCQC champion.
I think back to Kenny Humpy when he won the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. He was a name, Evan, that was just breaking out into sim racing. He goes and wins an eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series Championship, bunch of races. I think Eddie Kerner is going to be that next big name that we see on Tuesday nights, and he just made his splash right here for 10K.
And let's talk with the man behind all of it as we get Landon Cassill once more on the broadcast. And it had been a while since we did this way back in 2011. How did it lead up to the hype? I thought it was a great event.
Man, my heart is still pounding for these guys. I know what speeds they're capable out there on the track. And to see, the lap times, the pressure, you could just feel the pressure. Eddie Kerner had been fast all week. He was fast when there were tricks off pit road. He was fast by himself. He was fast drafting. He just was always fast and reliable. We knew he'd be a threat. And to see him put that lap up against all these pros was incredible.
Yeah, that's what we talked with him about, the fact that he was going head-to-head with real-life pros, with sim racing pros, and kind of obviously try to make his steps forward in a racing and sim racing career. What a cool moment for him, but I mean, as well for you to put this event back on, and everybody obviously received it so well, and it was great to have it back here at Darlington from the kind of race control perspective. Your final thoughts on this, and as well, I'm sure you have a bunch of people you need to thank for helping out.
Yeah, I mean, final thoughts, man. I'm so thankful for everybody that helped me put this on. Honestly, Joshua Mendoza behind the scenes has been, by my side for the last week, 12 hours a day. He's in Spain right now with his family quarantined, and he's been spending all day, every day on iRacing. So I know it's almost 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. He's in Spain. He was our race control. He's put in all these hours. I got to thank Blue Emu. I got to thank Select Blinds for coming on board and putting up the purse for this event. I mean, this is just incredible to see what everybody has come together to make happen. Those sponsors that put up this event and help me, give back to this community. That's what I wanted to do. I feel like it's a great way to cap off this sort of iRacing NASCAR quarantine, because we go real racing on Sunday in Darlington.
And certainly looking forward to that one, and hope that everybody enjoyed our sim racing coverage from this way back to the very first Pro Invitational and everything in between. But Landon, I will say, if it's a year or if it's another 9 years, I'm sure everybody had a lot of fun tonight, and the next question will be, when do we do it again? So we'll leave everybody on that cliffhanger, but really appreciate you putting this event on.
Thank you very much.
The man behind all of it, the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge, tonight presented by Select Blinds. And Tim, I think, like I said, and like everybody has iterated, and Eddie admitted it himself, he knew he had some speed, but to be able to do this against these drivers means something. One more big shout out to Select Blinds as well for putting up this purse. You can show your home some love with custom blinds. You go to selectblinds.com for more. But I mean, $10,000, you heard it from Eddie himself. That's life-changing money that he wins here tonight.
And, give a call out to Donovan Strauss as well. $1,000 for position number 2. Santi Tierrez, $500 for position number 3. For Donovan Strauss, there's another name that is working his way up through Road to Pro and trying to get up into the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. I don't think we've heard the last of Donovan Strauss either, but Eddie Kerner got up on the wheel and did what he had to do to win $10,000. I'm with you. I hope it's not another 9 years before we see another Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge. I'm hoping I'm still around for it. It's been a long 9 years, but congratulations to Eddie Kerner adding his name to the trophy with Kenny Humpy and Jason Loafing. It lived up to all the hype and all the expectations. We saw some drama at the end. It's single car, go or go home qualifying like Landon set it up back 10 years ago, and it still lives up to every expectation. I absolutely cannot wait to the next one.
And well, it was at the very same Darlington Raceway those 9 years ago, and we did it last. This is a vastly different sim, different faces, different cars, a whole new community. So I think my favorite part of this, I mentioned off at the top that, the LCQC was always mentioned as kind of a litmus test of, do you remember back when? And I'm happy to welcome a whole new generation of sim racers and fans into that club for this third installment of the Qualifying Challenge. That's it for us, though, here tonight from Darlington Raceway, and so happy that you were a part of the history with us here on the iRacing Sports Network. For Landon Cassill and Joshua Mendoza, as he mentioned, race control and putting this all on. For our team, Tim Burns, Justin Prince, James Pike, Drew Adamson, Cisco Scarbuza, and Alex Horn. I want to thank all of you for tuning in on behalf of myself, Evan Pasoko, and for Tim Terry. And congratulate Eddie Kerner. The 27,583 was the $10,000 lap. He's your champion of the Landon Cassill Qualifying Challenge in 2020.